Osawatomie, the city of history and promise. All right, so I have been approached to be the football, let's take a step back, the flag football coach for our school. And in this process, I wanted to reach out to some people and see learn, I guess, more about the game. I've never actually watched a flag football game, so I'm interested to see, like what am I getting myself into? What I do know is that I want to help kids, to help my students do something that's difficult. And playing a team sport is in and of itself very difficult. So joining me is the head coach of Baker, gentleman by the name of Coach Perez. Let's see how this goes. I'm very interested. Coach Perez,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm really good.
Can you hear me just fine?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome. So I know so very little about what I got myself into. What I can say is that I'm super passionate about expanding the sport because I believe that this sport should not be limited to just big burly dudes who like to tackle each other. Right? There's a lot more to the sport that I think people from all sorts of different walks of life should be able to participate in. And just like the gamesmanship of the whole thing, I think is part that really attracts me to football the most.
Hmm.
It's like 3D chess. I mean, there's so much to it, right? Uh,
Yeah.
and my hope is that we can grow the sport here, especially in Southeast Kansas. So that's where I'm coming from. I've reached
Okay.
out to you, and you and I have chatted a little bit about growing the sport. So you, if you don't mind, just a little bit about you. You are currently the head coach at Baker, is that right?
That's correct. Yeah. So I mean, I've been around flag football since I was like 19 years old, so about 20 years.
Oh wow.
Uh, I never played tackle. That was never something I did. I was a baseball player and a basketball player, and then after high school, I started playing flag football. And then I played on numerous men's teams, traveled around the world, not the world, but the country, playing flag tournaments and things like that.
Yeah.
Um, I still currently play. Like I'm in a men's league out here in Kansas, and I play with some guys out here that just to keep me active, just to keep me moving and playing. I've played quarterback most of my career, so that's all I've ever really done.
Yeah.
Tried out for the U.S. men's team, was able to make it through a few of the cuts, and then kind of dropped out at the top 36 in the country. So and I was already older then. I mean, I was what 38, 39 when I tried
Oh,
out for that
okay.
team. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so no, I've been in the game for a while. So I got into coaching about 5, 6 years ago, 5 years.
Okay.
When my daughter was in middle school, she had a bad experience with her middle school coach. Luckily, COVID kicked in, and she wasn't able to play anymore. So she was just like, "Hey, Dad, I still want to play. What can we do?"
Yeah.
So I built her a team, a little co-ed team with some of her friends, and we played in a boys' league out in Miami, in Florida, and that's where I got started coaching. I've been coaching. I coached high school flag in Florida for 2 years. I coached travel flag in Florida for 2 years, and
Yeah.
then now I'm in my second year here at Baker.
Oh, that's
Um,
so cool.
yeah, but I mean, you said I think you guys said you guys were going to be starting in 5-on-5, correct?
Oh, I actually found out yesterday we're going to do 7-on-7.
Okay, good, good,
Yeah,
good,
because
good.
so my connection was with through the Chiefs have reached out to a lot of these schools,
Mm.
and for whatever reason, I mean, how difficult does this have to be? A lot of people are saying no, and I'm confused because they're offering a ton of stuff, but
Yeah.
when I talked to them yesterday, our league is going to be 7-on-7.
Okay, good. I
Yeah,
know, I know, I know. Staley High School has flag. I don't know how far Staley High School is from y'all.
I it can't be too far. I
Uh,
don't know either. I've
yeah,
been
I don't.
in the area 8 years and I still can't think anything out of
Okay,
50 miles, right? And I
okay.
know Baker because my father-in-law was recruited to play football there in the 70s. Uh,
Oh wow.
Mother-in-law met him there, and she was in a sorority. that's
Okay.
right across from campus. That's now like the alumni center or something.
Yes, yes.
IMU,
Mhm.
I believe, is what it was. Yeah. And this is like a super long-winded story that I'm not going to get too far into. But if you ever catch wind or hear a story about a frat house that burned down in the '70s, my father-in-law was there for that. He was in the
Oh,
house
wow.
down. Yeah, and it was super tragic. So
I have heard of a fire out here. I didn't know where it was. I heard somebody say something about it, but
yeah, and so yeah, that those are the ties that we have to Baldwin. We
cool.
of course know a lot of other people through Baldwin, but yeah, that's my personal connection to the city of
That's
Baldwin.
cool.
Yeah, and my
Everybody I've met so many people in the area that are connected one way or the other with Baker University. It's crazy. It's crazy to me.
yeah, no,
So
absolutely. And so I'm in Osawatomie, right, which is like a town of 4,200. I have 280 kids in my school total. Um,
total.
total,
Oh
total.
wow.
Yeah, and we made an announcement at 2 o'clock this afternoon to come sign up for flag football, and I have 2, 4, 8, 10, 12, 14. I have 14 girls already signed up.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
That's phenomenal.
yeah. So I mean, I hope to be able to use all 25, and maybe even field 2 teams if we have to. I don't. I like. Those are great problems to have if that's the problem. But
Right.
I'm excited because we get an opportunity to challenge these kids to work as a team, right? And to challenge them to be great. A lot of the times I think that as a coach we get lost in all of the I haven't coached before, so I can't say this from personal experience, but what I've seen is that coaches get lost in the mundane things and forget the team piece. And
Right.
that's one thing that I really want to hit a whole lot. And as a math teacher, I'm going to be using game theory from mathematics to really reinforce the ideas of what it means to be a good teammate, what it means to put the team ahead of yourself, and knowing that if you can put the team ahead of yourself, you're going to get more out of that experience.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's really what I'm going to be pushing with my kids and my teams. So my question to you is this. After getting off the phone with Abby Brown, she played at Ottawa, right? So Baker obviously has to play Ottawa at some point, right? Y'all play each other?
Yeah, they beat us twice last year.
Those sons of guns. Come on,
No,
Cole.
but they're good. They're the 4-time national champions. So they're the
Whoa.
best team in they're the best team in collegiate flag.
Seriously.
Yes. Hmm.
Wow. Okay. So there's some. All right. Okay. Okay. I see what we're
Yeah,
doing.
they're really good. Really
Okay.
good.
All right. Is it better than the Florida teams?
Well, I mean, there's no Florida team that's been able to beat them in the national championship, so I got to give it to
Yeah.
them.
Okay. All right. Now, is Ottawa then your big rival? I
I
guess you have to
mean,
beat them to be a
I
rival.
don't, I don't, I don't know if they're a rival. I mean, we want to beat them, and they beat us pretty bad both times. Um, I don't know if it's a rivalry. I know the coaches there really well. I know a lot of the girls that play there. So I don't know if it's a rivalry, but
Okay.
you want to beat them, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. I get it. I'm so excited to get into the culture of it all. I'm excited to start
Hmm.
seeing games. I'm excited to start experiencing like everything it has to offer, like the speed of the game and all those things that I don't know.
Hmm.
Like I genuinely don't know how the game goes. So my
Okay.
question now is this going to be like summer 7-on-7 that tackle football players do? Is it going to be more like arena football because there's less people on the field? Like, can you describe?
It's a lot like the 7-on-7 that you'll see tackle teams do.
Okay.
It's a lot like that. Very much so. The only difference between that 7-on-7 and our version of 7-on-7 is everybody's eligible for a pass.
Oh,
Where I know in the men's or the boys 7-on-7, when they do that summer stuff with their tackle teams, the center doesn't go out for a pass. Where our center in our version is 7-on-7, everybody's eligible. You know, yeah, that's probably one of the biggest differences I would say in that version.
so that's
Uh,
a rush then.
Yeah, and then the rush is a 1 yard rush. Like the defense has 1 yard, they have to they're 1 yard from the line of scrimmage, and the moment the ball is snapped, they can go straight to the quarterback. And you can't really screen them, like you can't block, you can't put your hands on them. What you can do is kind of create like a screen, like we do in basketball. Kind of just get to that space before they do, and they got to get around you.
Okay.
That kind of thing, but you can't really block. So it's tough. Quarterbacks, I mean, quarterbacks have to be ready to get that ball out. Your screening schemes have to be good so that quarterbacks can run around those screens to give them a little bit more time. I mean, there's different little things that you can do.
Like, could you put somebody in motion to screen?
Yeah, you can put people in motion, have them set, and then you can snap it, run towards that motion, so that motion becomes your screener, so you can get a little bit more time. I mean, there's a bunch of different things you can kind of do to help your quarterback. If you don't have a pure thrower, this is the way I do it. If you don't have a pure thrower, a girl that can really throw the ball for you, yeah. Especially on a 7-on-7 field, you need someone who can at least throw it 20 yards. But if you don't have somebody like that, I usually put my best athlete there because I'll run the ball a lot. So if you realize you don't have a throwing type team where you first and foremost, you need a girl that can throw the ball. If you can't find a girl that throws the ball, then you got to know that your offense is probably going to be a running scheme.
Okay.
It's just harder that way.
Yeah.
Because there's no real way of blocking. You can't put your hands on someone. So the screening system or the screening that you're going to do, it's going to be tough. But, that's how it is. I've been on those kind of things.
So like in basketball, for example, if you're going to take a charge, you have to keep your feet set.
Yeah, you got to be set. Yeah. So same thing with a screen. You gotta be set. You can't be moving.
It cannot be like a moving screen to keep them going.
No. And I'll tell you this: the rule is you're not supposed to be moving. Okay.
Okay.
But referees, for the most part, will let you kind of move a little bit as long as you're not generating contact.
Okay.
So they'll let you move a little bit, but if you are generating contact, they will call a penalty on the screening.
So like if I use the girl that's going to play center and snap the ball, if I use her to kind of mirror that person.
Yeah, you can do some of that. The problem is that person who's snapping really needs to get out of her break as quickly as possible. Because remember, it's a 1-yard rush. So the moment you snap that ball, that girl can pass the line of scrimmage.
Right.
So it's got to be a girl that can get up and move back fast enough in her back pedal to get into that screen. Usually what we do is we'll put a running back there.
Yeah.
And we'll screen with the running back.
Okay. That makes
so what I'll do is I'll send you some film of the Baker games that we've played.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see how some of that works. And then that way you can get some ideas of how offenses ran and things like that.
No, I'm so excited to dive in. I was a 4.0 math major at KU, and I was talking to my best friend back in Texas, and we were talking about work ethic, and he's like, "Do you remember when you were a 4.0 math major?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Take that mentality and apply it to the game, and I bet you're going to do great." And I was like, "Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So I got work to do. Ready? I've got 2-3 hours of homework every night. I'm going to be studying. I'm going to get,
I mean, we got plenty of film that you can watch and kind of get an idea of how things work. I can send you some high school games too that I've done, so you can see that too. So you can see the different versions. Like I'll show you the high school one. I have a full game. It's about 8 minutes long. The video's not long, but it's just so you can see it and you can kind of get an idea of how it works on the high school level in Florida. It's a little different.
Sure.
And then you can see some of the college games, so you can see how the speed and the physicality changes a little bit.
Yeah.
But the technique is all the same.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So walk me through a game. So before the game starts, you got your captains that go out, do a coin toss. We figure out who's going to do first, and we got that part, right? So what's the special teams like? How's the kickoff? What does the kickoff?
So there is no kickoffs to start a game.
Okay.
The field is broken down into 80 yards, and then there's 3 first downs at every 20 yards.
Okay.
So how you start a kickoff or how you start a game is the offensive team starts the ball at the 6-yard line, or 6 yards from the first first down, which is 20 yards away from the goal line. Mm-hmm. So you have 4 plays to try to get a first down, which is about 6 yards. If you don't get a first down and it's 4th down, you can choose to punt the ball. So you can physically punt the ball. And you punt the ball to the other team. The offensive team that's punting, you are not allowed to. So you put everybody on the line of scrimmage. You snap the ball to your punter. The punter kicks. The moment the ball is kicked, that's when the offensive team can chase after, can run to go get the girl that's catching the ball.
So kind of like kickoff rules.
Kind of like what they're doing with the kickoff rule now in the NFL. Basically the same. You're not allowed to move.
Okay.
Yeah, not allowed to move until the ball's kicked. The only difference is in the NFL is they're not allowed to move until the guy catches it.
Right.
but in our rule, it's the moment the ball gets off the foot, you can take off.
Okay.
So what I usually do is I have the entire team even with where the punter is catching the ball on the snap.
Okay.
So as she's moving forward to punt the ball, the girls are also moving forward, so they can get some kind of running momentum on there. So that's the only way that I can kind of, trick it, so they can look like it's a running formation.
Okay. That makes sense.
That's that. So the punting team will catch it and then they run it. Again, you can't screen, like you can't block physically with your hands, but the remaining 7 girls on the other side that are receiving the ball, they can get in position to try to screen. So you can set some things up so that you can screen. What's cool about the flag football version of football in general is you can pitch the ball back and forth as many times as you want.
So a little rugby action almost.
So kind of, yes. And I've had plays where a girl will roll all the way to the right. We'll have one drop back all the way to the left. And we'll throw it all the way across the field to her, and then she'll run down the side. Kind of like what they did in the Music City Miracle. The whole Buffalo and Tennessee game.
That's right. Me and Sean were watching that as teenagers, and I remember jumping on a couch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we grew up in Houston, right? And so our team, the Oilers, move off.
Okay.
But they're all of our players, right? Those are our guys. And the Miracle and Jeff Fisher's the greatest, right? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely hate Bud Adams for that. So so it's a running clock except for the last 2 minutes of the half, is that right?
Correct. Running clock until I mean the clock stops when you score points, but other than that, the clock is always running.
How fast are the referees setting the ball? Like, is it pretty fast paced?
Yeah. They're pretty fast, and they understand game situation. If you're down a few points or whatever, and the game's running, they're running too. Like,
okay.
If not, I'm yelling at them. That's how I do it. So.
Okay. All right. I got you.
A lot of them sometimes tend to like kind of just lackadaisically move the ball and stuff, and sometimes you're in a hurry, you can't stop the clock. Like, come on, man, move the ball. Like, let's go. So,
is there like a shot clock? Like, you don't like
there is a play clock. Same thing. I think it's 40 seconds. So it's a long play clock.
Are you huddling or are you just yelling out plays or signaling?
Girls usually huddle. They have a playbook, so I give them a wrist coach.
Yeah, that's right.
I can put about 24 plays in that wrist coach.
Yeah.
If you want to show it to them as diagrams, like actually drawing out the plays and things like that, sure. Or you can teach them to learn specific words and combinations, and they just got to see them in their playbook and they know it.
Yeah.
I'm going away, so I'll show it to you here. I mean, this is literally, I don't know if you can see it. Hold on. I don't know if it's too faded. Yeah, but
background's got the background.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my fade. Let me see if I can change that, because you got to see that, because so you can kind of get an idea how that works.
Absolutely want to. We're good.
Okay, we're good. So there's basically see all my plays on the play card there.
Yeah, that's right.
So those are all the plays. So I do it like that, and then they have this on their play sheet or on their play card, and then I'll call out a number, and then they'll know what to do. But I'm actually getting away from that. I don't want them to see that. I want them to kind of memorize things. We're at the college level, so I need them to memorize stuff.
Right.
So I would say memorize words that mean in different routes or different route combinations and things like that, so that they got to memorize it. That way I can audible at any point in time. So I'll be on the sideline. I'll call a play number. They'll get into that formation. And then from there, I'll look at the defense and see where they're in. And then I either stay with the play or I'll check out of it. So if I want to check out of it, I'll just scream, check, check, check. And then I'll call my audibles, and then the kids will know what they got to do.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. So the last 2 minutes, the play stops, or the clock stops after every play, just like you would imagine it does.
No, clock doesn't stop after every play. It only stops on incompletions.
Oh, okay. All right. That's good. That's good. That makes a lot of sense. So handing off the ball, you can run so if I'm up, I'm up 10 or whatever.
Correct. You're trying to run the ball.
The ball in the last 2 minutes. There's no.
So the key point there is make sure you don't get no incompletion. So whatever your plays can be to make sure the clock never stops. That's what you want.
Right. So, okay. If I'm going to, I want to get more teams involved, because currently the way the situation is, the most likely they're going to be doing Saturday nights, and a school like ours, our athletes are playing volleyball, right?
Okay.
So I want to get that schedule on Wednesday nights, which is a dead night in almost every school. So if we could get ours on Wednesday night, that'd be really good. So I need to come up with a recruiting pitch to help some of these schools get involved quickly, right? And
right.
the Chiefs are offering right now, the Chiefs are offering $6,000 cash, $800 worth of equipment, which is like your pylons, the flags, whistles, all sorts of things of that nature, and 25 brand new Nike uniforms and access to the USA football resources. So if a person like me who's never even witnessed the game, but is passionate about helping kids and being a part of something, I'm really excited about this opportunity to dive into the USA football resources where they have playbooks. They have, oh God, if I could think of the name, they have other coaches that are there to help you out, like tutoring almost, but for football. And my question to you is, if you had $6,000 and $800 worth of equipment and 25 uniforms, is that enough to get a team started?
Yeah, way more. I mean, they're giving you all that. Absolutely. If you think about it, I know you were saying pylons and cones and stuff like that, but if the school already has a football team, you don't need that. Because
Right.
the school already comes, if the high school has a football team, you already have pylons.
Right.
So just things like that. Footballs, you're not paying a lot for footballs and things. $6,000 is perfectly enough money to start a program.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more than, especially if they're giving you the $6,000 and uniforms. $6,000 is usually what I spend just in uniforms.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
if they're giving you uniforms already, then yeah, I mean that's, and the easiest pitch for this area is easy. You got Ottawa, Baker, Kansas Wesleyan, St. Mary's, okay, universities. You have Pratt, you have Heston, Graceland, who's in Iowa, so it's not too far. You have William Woods, who's also in Iowa. In this area, in surrounding states, which is not very far. I mean, I'm driving to Graceland. I think that takes me a 3-hour drive or something like that to get there.
Yeah.
You have 8 schools in the area that are offering scholarships for flag football.
Wow.
8 schools in the area. Like, that in itself is a reason why you should give these kids opportunity. I'm talking about, I've given a kid $30,000 in scholarship to come play.
Wow.
The smallest scholarship, the smallest scholarship I've given is about $15,000.
Right. So that's huge.
Just in itself, you're giving girls another sport that they can have that gives them an opportunity to get an education outside of high school.
And
right?
The talent pool is little. Like, who are you? Like,
correct.
I'm sure as a college coach, you're probably at every track meet. You're probably at all the volleyball tournaments. You're going to all of those things to try and recruit. So
I'm not even going to tell you how many basketball players I look at.
Yeah.
And the thing is, since it's such a, these kids are coming in, right? They're good soccer players. I know soccer is pretty popular out here.
Yeah.
Volleyball is pretty popular, I guess, out here. I'm talking about for girls. I could care less about the boys' sports, but I'm talking about for girls. We're talking about soccer. We're talking about volleyball. Both of those sports in general relate really, really, really well for football, right? And basketball players, because you got to have good hand-eye coordination from volleyball. You're pretty shifty and fast in soccer, especially if you're a goalie. That means you got really good hands, okay? And in basketball, you're catching a ball every single play, right? No matter what. You're moving sideline to sideline. You're catching a ball when they pass it to you. It's the same concept when you're catching a basketball, just at a smaller scale when you're catching a football, right? Same, no big. So I'm looking at those 3 sports. So you're looking at kids in those 3 sports, and then you're looking at it and saying, hey, you're not able to get a scholarship in any of these 3 sports. You're not good enough in any of these 3 sports. Guess what? We're adding another one that's going to give you another opportunity. And coaches are always looking for kids like that. Like, I do a lot on potential. I recruit a lot of kids on potential. Okay, you've never played flag football? Okay, do you have any other sports that you play? Well, I play basketball, I play soccer, I play this. Okay, send me some film. And I'll look at film of the kid catching a basketball. I know she can catch football. I see her reacting on a soccer field, how fast she gets up and down the field.
Yeah.
I got to teach you the rest. That's easy.
Right.
I go a lot on potential. I recruit a lot of kids on speed, agility, change of direction. How fluid are their hips, right?
Yeah.
If
I'm laughing, coach. I'm laughing because I have this girl in mind. She's a sophomore and she's lightning fast. I mean, it's silly because I'm thinking about the powder puff games, right? Which is just like, it's not flag. It's not.
Right.
It isn't.
Right.
But I'm thinking about when they handed her the ball in flag football, she was running circles as these kids are running straight, right? And then get her out on the volleyball court and she doesn't even know, she can't set. for her life, right? Her hand-eye coordination is just a struggle. And in my mind, I'm thinking, man, if I could just hand her the ball, right? Like, let's just hand it off to her and let her go ham and let her
No,
just go
just
go.
bring her in motion and have like a jet sweep type. Hike
Yes,
here, take it, set up a good screen,
yeah,
and I mean, plus even if she's not good on the offensive side, you can still put her on the defensive side, because if she's fast and can get sideline to sideline,
yeah,
she can be a rusher. I mean, she can be that one girl at the 1 yard line that says, "Hey, go after that quarterback. Make sure you can get her."
yeah,
That's it. You
yeah.
know, like
Could ruin.
there's opportunity in different things. Like
Yeah.
I go a lot on potential. I was at so this past summer, I was still recruiting this past summer for this year.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And I was in so the Miami Dolphins out in Miami, they open up their training facility during the summer for a bunch of high school flag football teams in girls. So we have 306 high school flag teams in Florida. So it's probably one of the more popular sports in Florida for women or girls. The Miami Dolphins open up their facilities to play a summer league there, where the girls play 8 games inside their training facility, inside the bubble where they have their training facility and their fields and stuff. And I was there just watching because my daughter plays in it. She's a high school quarterback for a team down in Miami. And I was watching this one kid who caught the ball at the snap. They had her at quarterback, and they didn't have a quarterback on this team. She was the best athlete. They put her there, and they gave her the ball, and she just took off and ran. And she could move sideline to sideline. She had fluid hips. She caught the ball decent. So I immediately spoke to her that day, and I said, "Hey, are you interested in playing collegiate flag?" And she's like, "Yeah, I am, sure." And she applied, got accepted. I gave her a scholarship, and she's coming here. And just like that. And it's a kid that I saw out of random, and I was like, man, I'm going on potential here. Yeah. So, so it's just opportunity. And the kid, it's funny because I spoke to the mom. She came for a visit. I spoke to the mom. And the mom was like, she had no direction. She didn't know where she was going. You basically gave her just another option to do something. And that's your selling point right there to a bunch of high schools.
Yeah.
Just a selling point to give kids opportunities.
Yeah, you gave me the goosebumps. You did it. You did it. I think that has to be like the best quality a coach can ever have, is to be able to give somebody goosebumps like that. I absolutely love it. Weird random question. Can they wear gloves?
Yeah. Of
Okay.
course.
I didn't know. I didn't know.
Same receiver stuff that the guys use, they can use.
Sweet. That's awesome.
Same concepts. A lot of those same concepts. Even when you see tackle games, if you remove the offensive line,
right,
keep the center, okay, and you see what they run on offense, a lot of these teams, just remove them and just don't even look at the blocking schemes from the offense and the defensive lines. Remove them from the game, right? And you watch the route combinations from the receivers. It's the same thing for 7-on-7. It's the same exact thing.
When yes, I when you talked about like the lateral being pretty prevalent.
I mean, we use it a lot. In all kinds of.
Like my mind immediately goes to like every possible hook and lateral you've ever seen.
Yes. I
mean, I'm thinking about
we run that all the time.
Travis Kelce,
yes, and it's incredible how they don't use it in the NFL more, because it's actually there because nobody expects it. Right. So when you're about to get tackled and you can pitch it to another guy who's standing there waiting, like he's gone because there's like 6 people trying to tackle one guy. So it's like wearing flag, you can't have 6 people going up to a girl to try to pull her flag, because if you do that, we pitch it, she's gone.
Right. Yeah.
So exactly. I have some film of that too, so you can watch some of that. But I was at a tournament in Miami this past weekend that my daughter was in, and we scored about 4 or 5 touchdowns just on pitches like that.
Yeah. Oh, I can't tell you just how excited I am to get into the just like the nuances of the flow of the game, and how I can get my team, ready for that moment, right? Like, in all honesty, like, I don't think very many of these kids have ever done this before. They haven't been around it. So like, if I can get my team to be just as ready as possible, I think that we have a chance to actually,
and what ends up happening is I've spoken to a lot of kids who never played flag a day in their life. They go in and play flag and they fall in love with the sport.
Right.
because of all the stuff you said, the camaraderie, the emotional side of it when they're on the sideline, and the girls, more than anything else in the girls game, you see a lot of the support from each other, right? They catch the ball and they're all going nuts. Like, you're supposed to catch the ball, like, but they're going nuts anyways. And then you go nuts and you go and you run the ball and you get 10 yards extra, or you get a first down, you catch a touchdown. Like, the girls just go nuts on the sideline,
Yeah.
So that energy is different. That energy is different.
Yeah,
So
I'm excited to get around it. I'm excited to get the team together and just to have some just shared experiences. I think is going to be really, really important.
I think the best thing for you also is when you get your team. When does your season start? It's in the fall or the spring?
It's in the fall, so
It's
it's coming up quick. I just signed up for a clinic with so the Chiefs are they're gonna bring a team out here and run a clinic at our school.
Okay.
So we're gonna have a clinic for our kids.
Who was your contact point for that? Was it Abby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Abby
Okay.
Brown. Yeah, and so we're gonna have them come out and do a clinic with us. I know you offered to bring your team down at some point.
Yeah, and you can. How far are you from Baker?
About 40 minutes, 35, 40 minutes. Yeah.
So, I mean, you can bring the girls out and we can get them on the field and they can watch one of our practices, so you can kind of see how we do things.
That's exactly what I want to do. Is I want to make sure we're connecting on that so that we can see,
For sure, absolutely.
and it would be really good just to have our team, experience what a college practice is like, and experience what kind of fundamentals that they really should be focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
How do we work together as a unit? What are we supposed to be thinking about as a team?
Exactly.
And all of the things, all of it, doing your job, being a part of the bigger picture, I think is so wide.
And what's cool is that I'm really trying to recruit hard in this area. I have one kid from Staley High School that's coming to Baker. She graduated last year. I'm really excited. And then I'm working on another kid from Olathe that hopefully should be coming here too. So I'm working on a few things. I'm trying to grow it here. I'm trying to give opportunities for kids in Kansas to come and play. Most of my recruiting is coming out of Florida.
Right.
And most of my kids are coming from Florida. But
my hope, Coach, is that 5 years from now, we're going to be so tight that I can tell you, hey, I got this fourth grader, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the goal. Yeah.
You go ahead and offer that fourth grader a little,
Right. Might as well do it now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Do it now before Ottawa gets their paws on it.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
It is, man. Kansas, Wesleyan, Ottawa, we all fight for the same kids. So
and
it is what it is.
To be fair, if we're, so the Chiefs are talking about doing it in a way where we have like 4 teams at one host school. So of those 4 teams, like these guys will play each other and these guys will play each other, and then they'll switch. They'll play a second game. So 2 games in a night, basically. Which I don't know, good, bad, indifferent. Again, I've never really experienced.
No, two games in a night's not a big deal. Trust me, the game goes by so fast, and it's good because it gives the girls more opportunity to play. I mean, you got to understand the game is about an hour long.
Right.
It's not very long.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're talking about 12-minute quarters or maybe even 10-minute quarters at the high school level. Might be
20 minutes.
How much? 20-minute halves. So you're talking about 10-minute quarters. Yeah. So 20-minute halves, that goes by really fast. We do 12-minute quarters in college. So I mean, I've been at tournaments with my girls from Baker, and we've played 3 or 4 games in one day. So
okay, all right.
It's not that not such a toll and taxing on your body as you would think it is, but it's not. These kids can get through it, especially if they're playing at night. I mean, they can play forever.
Right. Yeah, and high school kids too. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you is a bigger emphasis on endurance or short burst speed?
I do more short burst speed as opposed to endurance. I mean, I do endurance when they get here from summer break or winter break. I do endurance just to get them in shape. Right. After they're in shape, then I stay away from all that long running stuff, because if you take into account every play in flag is probably the length of the play is about 10 seconds. Okay. Every play.
Yeah.
And the most that kids are running is 10 to 15 yards on one play.
Right. Okay.
Some kids will be running longer. They'll run some 20, 30-yard plays or whatever. But on the contrary, for the most part, it's usually 15 to 20 yards you're running every play.
Love it. 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 If I get some high schools that are kind of on the fence
Mhm.
Do I have your permission to send them your information to try and get them to start a program?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Please do.
Yeah.
Please do.
And do you mind me just considering you part of the network, and you're really my first true contact when it comes to the sport. So I hope that you keep me in the loop as far as trying to grow the sport.
Absolutely.
I hope that you can let me be a part of growing the sport. And maybe 10, 15 years from now, I can only imagine that the Keisha is going to be on it in the high school level, probably within the next 3 or 4 years, because it takes 24 schools to do it,
Yeah.
and we're at 7
Another thing that these
now.
kids can you can sell it to these kids and sell it to these schools is, flag football is going to be in the Olympics in 2028.
Right.
So
We
uh,
mess around and we might have an Olympian right now.
you could have an Olympian. Like I look at my girls here at Baker, and I think 2 of them or 3 of them can try out for that women's team already.
Wow.
Not to say they'll make the team, but just they're 19 years old with an opportunity to do that. Like I'm also a U.S. national coach too, so I coach on the U.S. national stage as well.
Wow.
I've won but I do it on the youth side, so I develop them to get them ready for national teams. I coach on the 15U side.
Okay.
We were in California this past year and we won a gold medal,
Hey,
beating Mexico in the championship game. So
let's go,
yeah.
coach.
But I mean, and that's 5-on-5.
Right.
So I've coached 7-on-7. I've coached 5-on-5. I've played 4-on-4. I mean, I've played all versions of flag. It's
Dude, do you remember when we were kids? I'm assuming you're right my age. I'm 41, right? 42.
yeah,
You're right in that.
42.
Do you remember
Mhm.
when we were in high school? Do you remember NFL Blitz?
I do. I do.
Like
It's a
it
lot like that.
it was
I'm
so
telling
much
you, it's a lot like that.
fun. Okay.
It's a lot like that. And if you look at Madden over the last few years, they've had this mode in Madden's called the yard,
Okay.
where they play 3-on-3 actually on the field, and it's a smaller field, and they play 3-on-3. It's basically like that.
Okay.
And 5-on-5 is basically like that. Just
Okay.
one-on-one matchups and things like that. So it's pretty cool.
Dude, I can't wait. Thank you so much for your time today, man.
No problem.
I really appreciate it. We're gonna
No
work.
problem.
You and I, we're gonna be keeping in touch. I'm gonna share
Sure.
this video with as many athletic directors in the area as possible, so that they can.
Absolutely. And if they need to speak to
About
me,
the-
you let them have my number. They can call me, reach out.
Absolutely.
I'd be happy to show up and meet with them or have a Zoom meeting with all of them. Like I don't care. I need it. I need it in selfish ways. I need it here so I can recruit kids from Kansas.
That's right.
It just makes it better. But it's just in general, just to grow the sport in every state.
But in that selfish pursuit, what you're doing is providing opportunities for a lot of people,
And
right?
that's true.
So how selfish is it?
Yeah, that's true too. True too.
Hey, you're awesome, Coach Perez. I really, really appreciate it.
No problem.
We'll be talking a lot soon. Okay.
Keep in touch and let me know what you need. Anything I can help you with, I will do so.
Absolutely. And
All right.
I look forward to it. Talk to you soon, Coach.
You take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks. Bye.